Hello, this is Bobby at Copel TV Repair with a video today that I made by request by a customer on how to test power supply board PS-506-PH or LJ44-00144A. That's an old plasma TV power supply board, and testing it is very similar to testing many other power supply boards that we have videos for. Look at our blog. As soon as this is ready, I will probably update an article there as well. Again, the testing procedure is very similar. There are some minor differences. There may be something that I may miss here, but let's start in order. First, many power supply boards can be tested out of TVs, and this is something actually pretty nice. With one note, the test is not always 100%, well, not always, it's not 100% foolproof, in that to be a foolproof, the board needs to be tested properly under load. And now I'm going to be showing you how to test it without load. Testing it under load is a little bit more complicated, if only because if one wants to get really detailed about it, all loads have to be present at the same time, pretty much emulating the full TV's test, in order to know that the test is done properly. However, statistically, from someone who does a lot of power supply boards and from others who do the same, very few boards fail under load when they work normally without a load. It's not impossible, it does happen, but when it does, one knows what to look for and can spend more time troubleshooting. And this is what we're trying in our first step, since customer says the board doesn't work. Now, this board does have a feedback for failure catching its own watchdog monitors turned on, and if the power is turned on and the board itself detects a problem, this LED will start blinking an error code, which is explained in that table that's called alarm signal. Different codes mean different things. They don't tell you which component is bad, but they point you in the proper direction of a circuit which is bad. The good thing about this board and many others is once they are turned on, it actually turns on all output voltages except the VS, which is the highest and most powerful VGVS. There it is. And it is about, it's got to be somewhere on a table, the voltage that goes out there, they print them. I don't see where it is on this board, maybe it is somewhere. It's about 205, 207 volts, but usually the good manufacturers, and that includes Samsung, do have a table somewhere, it may be on the back of the board, that says what are the voltages that are outputted by the board. No, it's not on the back of the board here. It's probably still somewhere on the front, because I can't quite imagine Samsung not putting it. This is less of a focus right now, though, if only because we have the ranges that the board has to be producing. And what we will do is first turn on the board. This is my cable that goes to the AC. We test it outside of the unit just with pure AC. I plug in, the board clicks, the green LED lights on and stays solidly on. That's what the board should do when you test it outside of the TV with, again, nothing connected to any of the connectors, because otherwise main board and plasma logic board can manipulate it and can report something different. Now, when the board turns on and you heard the 2 clicks, so many things, the board is almost fully functional. The one thing that you can see is it will have on those testing points, well, I will start here since it's easier on that connector. It will have the 5 volts that go almost everywhere, the D5 volts, and I'm testing that and you can see them there. And it's saying -5 because my leads are swapped. So you can see the common is on the red and the black is on the voltage. So yeah, it will be reporting negative voltages, but that's about it. So we have the VS, the D5 volts here. We have the VA, which is about 53. Your TV will tell you, there's a label on the back of the panel that tells you what VA should be. VG, which is 15 volts for the logic on the sustain boards, will be on that pin up there. Actually, the testing point is here, and it is 15 volts. There you go. And which one? VS will not be present. It will be some floating voltage, 4 point something. In order for you to activate VS, what you will need to do will be to send 5 volts from, say, somewhere here from D5 volts. You gotta send them to the VS on pin. And you can do that with a tweezer. You can do that with a little cable connector, little short cable like I will do. Put that here, take the other end and connect it to VS on. What this does is, by sending 5 volts to the VS on pin, we tell the power supply board to activate the VS output, which we are now going to measure and see what it is. As you can see, 207 volts we have on the VS when those two here are shorted. Still not blinking. VS is there. Once again, it is possible that under load that board may behave differently. If you get a board that passes those tests and fails when you connect something to it, that still doesn't necessarily mean that the board is bad, but you can narrow down which rail, what gets connected, and how is the board behaving, and what is the error code that it produces. So you can focus on narrowing down that circuit. Of course, you can also measure, and you should be measuring the output voltages here, but those are monitored. Audio amplifier, a number of other ones that are on neither this connector nor that I measured. There are not many though. Sound plus minus. If this one has a bipolar audio amplifier, 12 volts going to somewhere I see. You can test all those. Yeah, there it is. The sound negative, sound ground, sound positive. So here there will be plus minus with a ground in the middle. We can test those too. Not always the power board is testing, is watching and monitoring all the output voltage. I have seen power boards that do not. So a good engineer will test those as well. But the 5 volts with an error code, the VA and the VS are definitely the most common issues, and they are monitored by this board. So take that test if you want to repair the board and see what it does without no load, no connection, anything, and what it does with the load, and get back with us for advice if you want to. Thank you.